But it's all right. It's beneficial. Like that. Whatever karmas you've committed in this life, listen carefully. Whatever karmas you've committed in this life, simply by changing your identity, doesn't make the karma go away. So, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, if you were a sneaky businessman, or you were a bad housewife, or you were a liar, or you were a cheater, and suddenly you find Buddhism, and suddenly you're a born-again Christian, and suddenly you go to some self-help program, you realize you shouldn't do that anymore. That is wonderful. That is wonderful you don't do that anymore. But what you have done remains. So you may be a housewife now that's all wonderful and fabulous. You may be a good businessman now, but last time if you've cheated or you've lied or broken promises, then in this life, just because you're a good businessman again, just because you're a good housewife, just because you're a good son or a good father again, it doesn't mean what you did goes away. You cannot escape the deeds you have done by changing your identity. You cannot. So whatever lives you're living now, if the lives you're living now are based on falsity, or harm, or damage, or hurting others, or lying and cheating, and you're living your life now all goody-goody, don't tell people, why don't you respect me, or like me, or trust me, or why doesn't my situation change, why doesn't my fortune go up, why doesn't the gods help me, why doesn't the Dharma Protector help me, why doesn't anybody help me? Because just because you've changed your identity doesn't mean what you've done has gone away. Similarly, you may be a goody-goody in this life. You're a good man, you're a good son, you're a good husband, you become a good businessman, and you're all goody-goody. When something bad happens to you, you say, oh, why did that happen to me? Why? I'm a good person. Well, very simple. And that's where the philosophy of previous lives and cause and effect comes in very beautifully. And it answers all your questions. That even though you've changed lives, you still cannot escape from the karma you have collected in previous lives in a different form. So changing lives doesn't offer you protection of negative karma you collected. Changing identities doesn't offer you protection from the negative karma you have accumulated. Let's say when you were a kid, when you were in your adolescence, you were a hoodlum. You burned cars, you robbed, you raped, you stole, you held people up, and you hurt and you beat up people. You were the most horrible gangster on the planet. And then suddenly, you wear a tie, you wear a shirt, you go to work, and you're a respectable yuppie. You work in an office. But you know, that identity has changed. That's wonderful, because you don't do further negative karma. But what you have done before is still there in your mind stream. So therefore, by not thinking about what we have done in previous lives or this life, what we have done doesn't go away. Broken commitments, lies, cheating, stealing, all these things that harm other people, it does not go away. Why doesn't it go away? How can changing one's identity make a deed go away? And that's where not holding on to identity comes in very strong. If you say, you know what? I've been taught that stealing and cheating is the best way to make it in this world, then I can support my mother and family, because if you do it the right way, it won't work. So it doesn't matter if I break the law. It doesn't matter if I'm a cheater and I'm a liar. It doesn't matter at all. Why doesn't it matter? It doesn't matter because the purpose is good. The reason is good, to help my mother. But you have to understand something. If you take on that identity of poor me, that I've suffered, that I've had a bad life, I had a bad share, and I had to cheat to make it alive, and I had to push myself and to do illegal things to make it alive, and hence it's for a good reason, that's wrong thinking. Why is that wrong thinking? Because once you get your money, and then you go and help your mother, you buy her a house, you serve her, you take her on trips to China or whatever, that's wonderful. But when you change your identity from a cheater to a filial son, the identity has changed, but the karma is still there. So hence, what's the point? The point is very, very, very nice. How many times you change your identity cannot change the deeds that you have committed that have harmed others. It will definitely come back. If you don't believe in the law of cause and effect, that might be all right, but you have to explore inequality, injustice, and also things that are just not fair. What else can explain that more better than inequality in life, in all stratas, in all spheres? You think about that. Now, hence again, changing identities in this life does not protect us. We should not think, oh, last time I was a monster, and I was really, really not a nice person, and I was really bitchy, and I was sneaky, and I didn't keep my promises, and now I'm a real good person. And now I'm fabulous. That's great, but you have to understand something. Don't take refuge in your current identity to escape the deeds of your previous identity. That karma will come back. And if you don't face it, that's fine, but it will come back. Because the law of cause and effect doesn't depend on you facing the truth. The law of cause and effect, the law of karma, and things come around, go around, comes around again, doesn't depend on you realizing, doesn't depend on you accepting, doesn't depend on you to come out with it. Hi, I'm an alcoholic, forgive me. No, it doesn't depend on that. It doesn't depend on anything except for you to trigger that karma off, and then you'll get it. All you have to do is trigger that karma off. Then you will get it. Hence, solution for now, short term, immediate. We should make a firm decision to avoid negative actions. We should make a firm decision now to avoid negative action. Because why? We may have been a loser before and now we're successful. But all the things we did as a loser that hurt people will get us back when we're successful. And you know what? Even if we're successful, how long would that last? And that's very scary. So no matter how much you say to your friends, you're all right, you're good, you justify, you cover, your friends may believe you because they don't have clairvoyance and they're not with us, but your karma won't believe you. Your karma is unbiased. It will come back. Now, if we met definition of the mind is clarity and cognizes. The mind is something that has clarity and that can perceive. Cognize. Cognize is to perceive or to see or to hear or to taste or touch. You know, if I go up to Adeline and slap her, she can feel it, right? Yes, that's cognition. That's cognition. If I go to Adeline in a boathouse and kick her really hard for quitting, she will feel it too. Why is that? She has cognition. Now, if she comes and says, I'm sorry, forgive me, I will buy a 3-foot tsongkhapa and be a good nun from now on, that might wipe away those negative, evil deeds. All right. It could be 2 foot. The point is remedial action. I'm just picking on her. There's nothing real and serious, just picking on her because she has this victim look. If you look at her, she always looks like this. So whatever you say, if it rings a bell, she's like... So it's got a kind of like a pick on me look. Yeah, it's like a pick. It looks fishy, like a pick on me fish. All right, now, clarity refers to the nature of the mind and cognizes the function of the mind. Mind is clarity because it lacks form and because it possesses the actual power to perceive objects. Mind cognizes because it